I finally figured out what that music reminds me of and why it's nostalgic. And I have to say this. Has anybody watched My So-Called Life with Claire Danes?
No.
It's totally white. It's a totally white show. Anybody in the chat, if you remember the show, and yes, I'm like telling on myself my age. If you remember My So-Called Life with Claire Danes, and I think it's Jared Leto, put a one in the chat. I'm gonna love you forever. Thank you,
You
Mara.
baby boomers and their old people TV shows
Oh,
like Degrassi or whatever else y'all watch, General Hospital.
did you just say baby boomers?
Yeah, I don't know what y'all are. I have no clue.
Kay is not here. She had to take a leave, so unfortunately, she's not here for this. Next month, we will start doing live streams on the weekend. Do you guys want to announce that? Prince Betty, when are we gonna do live streams?
I don't know, like Saturday at 5, probably, maybe.
Oh, all
That's not.
right.
So wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Guys, we are going to start streaming on the weekends. I understand that weekends are typically relegated for going out, having fun, getting lit.
I don't care
Um,
what they relegate their weekends for. They need to come and see about me.
oh no. I promise you that if you check us on the weekend, you will be very, very entertained. Like very entertained. So we hope to see you guys on the weekend. Weekends are always fun. Weekends, maybe we can do a little bit of drinking because Lord knows I cannot drink during the week, but Saturday I can get a little bit loose off the goose. Who knows?
We will continue to have our regular live streams like Wednesdays, Fridays, and then we'll add one more on Saturday. So nothing will change besides an additional live stream. So yeah. We miss Kay. I know you guys know Kay. Yeah, sad face. We miss Kay. We're sending her a lot of love and hugs. She is fine though. So, how is everyone?
Um, I'm well. As you can see, my location is different once again. I'm sure you're both curious.
No.
All right, never mind. Annalisa, how you doing?
I'm sorry, I'm curious.
Curious about what?
Your new locale.
My new look. I barely even noticed. Wow, thank you for asking. Um, I'm in New York, and I'm in somewhere that's underground, which is weird. The houses here are weird. Um,
Do you
yeah,
like the city? Do you like New York though? Would you move there
I saw a
permanently?
rat. I saw a rat carrying a pizza box.
Pizza Rat is at it again. Oh my
A pizza,
God.
but
God
like a
bless
whole
him.
box, not like a slice of pizza, like a whole box, like Ratatouille or somebody.
Pizza Rat. And now he's a Uber. Now he's a Uber. Uber delivery guy. Rat.
No, he
Rat.
didn't have a car. He was just on foot.
Yeah, they can. You can go on foot, bike, pause, whatever. New
You can
York is
Uber. You can.
crazy.
Excuse me. You can Uber Eats on foot.
Yeah,
So when you look in the app, it'll say your walker is 15 minutes
I've
away.
had. Okay. Let me to be more precise. I've had like DoorDashers, Skip the Dishes, or Uber. They've like especially in summertime, they will roll up in rollerblades. Period.
Period.
They want to get their exercise in. Okay, I live like with all the hipsters. That's all they care about: exercise and being healthy.
Did Prince Petty and
Did
Dennis link up? Yeah, I'm in the
no,
basement.
no. I do not go to the squalor.
I think it looks nice, Betty. I think
That's
you
because I'm
have
showing this
you have
side
a
and not that
window that
side.
you can like crawl out of if anything happens.
That window is where the ground is. That's where
So
the ground
you're
starts
like a
outside.
mole rat. You're below the ground.
Mole rat. What do you mean?
Like you are like below the ground, like
Oh, that
below the
reminds
dirt.
me of a joke that my friend told me. Do you know what an eagle and a mole rat have in common?
No,
They both live underground, except the eagle.
that was terrible.
All right, it's fine.
That
Themis,
was
how are you?
terrible.
How is Themis this week?
How are you, Annalicia?
Betty, we want to know how you are.
I was doing good
Smiley,
until I was
handsome.
doing good until you said my joke wasn't good. Honestly, that kind of depressed me out. It made me a little depressy, and I might see my
You
therapist
like
about it.
you millennials or whatever, you're so sensitive. Like you guys can't take any critique. You're so sensitive, you young kids. It's
How do you
enough.
know I'm not like Gen X or Z or something? I don't know.
You don't yeah, you don't know. Themis, how was your week? How are you? It's Wednesday, it's hump day. How are you?
Reading this book again by Myron Gaines put me through the ringers. Like, I am tired. I am exhausted. I'm stressed. I am over it. What would you say? I'm over it, under it, above it. What do you say? I don't know. Throw it
Yeah,
all
no,
in.
the whole of it, the whole nine. That book was like, I'm not gonna lie, when you first suggested it or when you first kind of told us, you're like, hey, this is what I'm reading. I like part of there was a curiosity in me, so long as I did not have to buy it, because Lord knows I'll never spend money on anything that those bandits produce or create. Part of me was a little curious just to see the writing style, just to see how creatively inclined he might be. Like maybe he's one dimensional in real life and remedial in real life, but maybe writing is like his creative outlet, and maybe I was going to see something. No, no,
Girl, not you thought there was going to be something.
something more, something more,
before we
something
get
more.
before we start before we get into the review, how are you, Anna? How is everything?
All is well. I don't know if you guys can like hear it in my voice, like if I'm nasally. I've been sick for a while, had some issues with my appendix, but I'm better. I'm feeling better finally. Yeah, it's a good day. I feel better. It's hump day. Whenever it gets to Wednesday, I'm like, oh my God, Thursday, Friday, it's almost there. And I'm excited immediately.
But you don't think, oh my God, it's halfway through the week, work is gonna be done too quickly now. I need to like really I think, oh my God, I don't want the weekend to come. I want to work more. Give me more, give me more.
But to be clear, you work on the weekends as well. So
Yeah.
I would understand wanting to kind of like delay the weekend. For me, the weekends are a reprieve and I don't have to dodge like hypodermic needles and crack pipes. I don't have to like put together harm reduction kits. I'm much happier on the weekend.
No, I'm joking, by the way. Really, Themis, no, not really.
No,
Um,
he loves his weekends. Don't play.
Kamal, welcome to the membership. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into the book. Did you guys finish the book first and foremost?
Unfortunately, I read at a third grade level. I did not finish the book twice.
Well, then you should have been great then. If you read at a third grade level, this should not have been a problem.
Unfortunately, this book is at least at a fourth grade level, at least.
I actually, Petty, I gave him the eight, like the cap is, he capped out at the eighth grade. Like when people say, oh, he's an author, it was well written, there's no grammatical errors. Pause. I found a lot of grammatical errors. In the first sentence of the book, it was grammatically incorrect and terrible.
Well, wait, Anna, who are you throwing shade at?
Whoever said that it was well written, that it was grammatically well written. Whoever, I don't know who that was. I can't remember whoever said it. Absolutely not.
I didn't say it was it didn't have grammatical errors. What I said was it is relatively good. Relative meaning in comparison to the Commas book we were reading.
Okay, now I remember. And then I remember we said that the bar's in hell. Okay, well, okay. You got the lawyer got out of that one. I just do not think that it was well written. I think this would be an A+ for a kid in like the 8th or 9th, not the 9th grade. The 9th grade, you can do better. You need to pull more out of your head. But for an 8th grader, I would say this is an A. This is an A. But for a grown, dusty male, I would give this book a D.
Have you ever heard the phrase, this is what dumb people think smart people sound like?
Yeah. Ooh, Petty came with the fire.
Indubitably.
I like that.
Indubitably.
Wait, so are you guys just saying the book F and F pedally insult book? Wait, so wait. Thank you, two L's. All right, let's get it. Why would you grade the book? Because, like, I would have to mark this on a curve, and it gets an A because of the curve.
Oh my God.
This is the best book out of the Manosphere that I've ever read.
You haven't read all of the Manosphere books.
I have read one book out of the Manosphere.
Everybody in the
That's a
Manosphere
lie.
is writing a book.
No, that's a lie. I've read 2 books out of the Manosphere.
Hafiz, did Hafiz write a book?
No, I'm not going to say the person's name because he liked to say he's an author, but that book was trash. And as someone who writes book, I'm not going to say, "Oh, your book is trash," and name the person like that. But we also read the Purple Pill or whatever, his book with all the commas live on stream. That was probably a 55.
That's okay.
Percent.
A 55? Are you grading that on a curve?
Yeah, all of this is on
Oh
a
my
curve.
God, that's not. Listen, man. Listen, this is not the no child gets left behind. You give them what they get, and that's the end of it. This was
If I give them what they earn, then no one will get where they need to go.
Okay.
Wait, I don't understand.
I can get with that.
I thought teachers graded papers and it was like 10% is going to be for the grammar, 10% is going to be for your citations, 10% is going to be for the actual content, and then like a big chunk is going to be for the big chunk is going to be for the content. And then I think 10% is for like putting your name on the top.
Oh my God, you literally just brought me back to like high school. Let's do that, Petty. Let's do that.
Yeah, I would deduct 10% because, well, let me not say that part since we don't want to do that this stream. I
feel like y'all are being hard on Myron because y'all didn't like him.
It has nothing to do with him. Themis, it's a bad book. When you're using Beyonce and Jay-Z as a point of reference for it was a bad book. It was boring. It wasn't insightful. It wasn't inventive. It wasn't it was a bad book. And forget the way that it was written. Okay, forget the simplicity and rudimentary way that it was written.
The title of the book is Why Women Deserve Less. Continue.
Listen, just because the bar is in hell, it doesn't mean I'm not going to rate it according to what I read. What I read was basic, one-dimensional, rudimentary, remedial ideas with absolutely nothing to substantiate. Like, that book is probably the encapsulation of like citation needed. If citation needed was a book, that would be the book. That whole entire book is citation needed, and instead the citation is like Romo Tomasi, whoever the hell that or that white bandit is.
It's really interesting what you said about the bar being in hell, because I remember a conversation I had with my therapist a while ago about a friend, and for the purposes of this conversation, the friend is going to be this book. And I spoke to my therapist about having expectations for my friend and those expectations being failed to be met, to the point where I lowered my expectations to nothing. And somehow, even after I lowered my expectation to nothing, I was still disappointed. It was as if instead of giving nothing, something was taken away from me. Specifically, I'm talking about my brain cells. I feel like I lost a few going through this book, and that upsets me.
Before you guys can judge this young man writing a book trying to help other men, before y'all can judge, where's your book? Anna, where is your book? Prince Petty, where's your book?
Time out. What Petty? Let's give some credence to what Petty just said. I felt stupider reading the book. I felt like a stupid person. Okay, listen. I understand that I can like be really edgy and mean. Okay, I don't always mean to be mean. I really felt like I moved backwards intellectually after reading that book. So I'm not gonna say, I felt stupid, but I felt like I took I was bumped a few pegs down intellectually after reading that book.
You
It
can
made me feel insecure and slow.
Wait, Anna, let's dive into this. So you felt insecure, if I hear you right. You felt insecure because you don't have a book to write, and
I felt insecure because I'm not
good
an
enough to write a book.
unintelligent individual, and after reading that book, it made me question my intellectual capacity because I read the book in the first
Because it
place.
went over your head?
No, because it went under my ass. It was terrible.
You don't have a book all you want, but I'd rather not have a book than have a book that is the laughing stock of the literature world.
That is like saying I'd rather not have tried, so I would know how it feels to fail.
That's like somebody saying, "Where's your wife?" though, when I give relationship advice and they're in a relationship that's terrible. I'd rather be single.
But then you wouldn't be able to give relationship advice because
I
you wouldn't
absolutely
know.
would. The advice is good, and that's what matters, not who writes it. Speaking of it being good, this book wasn't. It doesn't matter who wrote it. I don't care who this book would have came from. It could have came from Albert Einstein. I wouldn't call it good.
I think you guys are resorting to ad hominem attacks because you don't like the author. Don't hate the messenger. Let's discuss the message.
I
I
think
think
that you're discrediting. I think you're discrediting Petty in a really unsolicitedly. First of all, because everything he's saying is true. The Themis, the book, Like I've read.
all I
Meg,
feel is hater. I feel hater energy.
it's giving
Um,
hater. Okay, it's giving hater.
Okay, you don't like our critique of the artist or the book. Maybe we
Not
can talk about.
artist.
Maybe
It
we
is
can talk about.
art. It is high level art.
Maybe we can.
Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. If he's an artist, then the government of Saudi Arabia is the leader of the feminist movement. How about that? That's the world we live in now? We live in an alternate reality? Okay, he's an artist, Saudi Arabia, that's the feminist movement. That they usurp that then. Okay, fine. I'll live in your world.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not art. It's just that I refer to it as art in the same way that someone could smear boo-boo on their hands and smear it on a canvas and put it in a museum and call it art. Yeah, sure, it's art, but how valuable is this art?
This was sold a lot. I saw a lot of notes in the book. There were people highlighting and taking notes. The general public were receiving and taking notes in this book.
To be clear,
there.
Themis, to be clear, and just to kind of just to put a period or an exclamation point on Petty's point, children create art all the time. All the time. Children create art.
But their art is not the number one bestseller.
But to the parents it is.
But not to the world that is purchasing this.
But to the child, the parents are the world. To the child, the parents are their world. So that is the greatest piece of art that their child has ever produced is all that matters. The world doesn't matter to the child in the same way that Petty and myself do not matter to low-level thinking, remediated bandits, aka bald, aka I'm not going to keep going because
y'all are haters.
I know.
First of all, y'all are haters. Let me explain it. Let me point this out to you. Let me break this down to y'all. Do you know how much time it takes to write a book? No, because neither of you have a book to write. If you had a book, you would know what it means and how it takes to write a book.
I do have a book.
I actually have a manuscript. So the joke's on you.
Then that's on Kim Kardashian.
No, that's on you and Baldy Gaines. Okay, that's on Gaines.
If you had a book, you would know what it means to write.
I can't. I'm not gonna deal with the finger wagging in our faces about a book that was complete garbage. No.
I've written a book before on religion.
No, thank you. I'm good. How is that women deserve less when they are giving up a large percent of their paycheck to pay their preference to keep them company? Sure, y'all are gonna hate. The feminists are out mad, but we're going to get into this book because y'all are lying, and the book is booking. So much hateration in the dancer. Exactly, DJ. It's giving hater, it's giving hater, and it's giving hater. That's what it's giving. Annalisa is hating, Petty is hating, and that's just not on that.
I when it comes to garbage, I'm so indifferent about the way I'm perceived. It's like, why do I care about what a piece of garbage can't speak back to me? They don't, they can't see me. They don't have like, okay, you think I'm a
When
hater,
it
okay.
comes to garbage, you take it out. This book we read, and it went into our system. It was sold to people
I
who
already forgot the book. I forgot about it already.
it was sold to people who Sinji, not me, said are barely illiterate. Shout out to the men adding to their book collection, but it loves a flower plus one.
Yeah, when you said it was
Hurry up and eat. Hurry up and eat. She's gonna eat. Please eat in the chat. Hurry up and eat, and put Themis back in his place. He's lawyering right now, but he knows the truth. The truth will set him free.
All right, let's go through this chapter by chapter. Since y'all want to play these games, let's do it. Jokes aside.
Oh, let me get my book. Hold on.
Atlas Shrugged is better toilet paper than this book. I didn't hate Atlas Shrugged.
Who said that?
Themis, you know, he used a software to compose this book. No man hours was spent. He got AI to do it. I actually hate the fact that this is a thing.
Well, hate it or love it.
How do you think my book was written?
Are out here winning, okay?
All right. So chapter 1. This is how boss this book is. Chapter 1 is 2 pages long, and 1.5 page is a quote from another book.
Let's go.
Yeah, I thought it was really weird. The first 76 pages of the book was an excerpt from a different book. I don't know how that isn't considered plagiarism, but I'm not a writer, so.
Because citation, period. So we don't have to read chapter 1 because it's only 2 pages long, and it's essentially a quote to another book. Chapter 2. Oh, go ahead, Anna. You have something.
I wanted to point out about chapter 1 because again, the only things that I really that I wrote down were things that I thought were like a little bit. What is that? That doesn't make sense. So and I'm gonna quote because you said you want us to quote verbatim. The book was written for incels and simps to, quote, prevent you from wasting your resources on the unreciprocated romantic pursuit of. Wait, are we allowed to do this?
Do what?
Like quote his book?
Yeah, without... no, it's not protected under copyright because we're reviewing it.
Okay, sorry. Romantic pursuit of women to the point it ruins your life. That was on page 3, I think. And the 3 examples that he gave immediately following that were Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Wait, no, that's chapter 2. That's chapter 2. Chapter 1 is literally 1.5 page.
Some notable things I found in chapter 1. I won't be too long. He claimed that women are being offered sex 1,000 times a month. He didn't cite anything, which was weird. He asserted that all of women's options in modern times have been opened up by technology, which allows women to meet more men in a day than they used to in a lifetime. And that felt weird to me. I don't think that's technically false. Women have more options, but wouldn't men have more options as well in this world? So it seems a little weird to point it out on one side.
No, wait, pause. Women, I refute that claim that women have more options. Women have particular kinds of option. If you want to get laid, women have more option. If you want a relationship, I don't know how they quantify that because they admit that women are being proposed. Oh, that's cute. They admit that women are being propositioned for sex more, right? Not 1,000 times that's some foolishness. He just
I think I'm not refuting that. I do think they get proposition sex more than a relationship or anything else.
But to say that that means women have more option is overly reductive, simplistic, and absolutely idiotic. Back to my defense of Marin.
Wait,
Women have more options. Go.
the book also says in this chapter that men need a gaming strategy, and I thought it was really weird that he will literally describe male dating behavior as playing games with women, whereas when I go to women's channels to see how they date, it's like they're fighting for their life out here trying to figure out how not to be kidnapped on the first date and why it's important to meet in public so that something like RAPE doesn't happen to them. So I thought it was interesting to start contrast between how men are dating based on this book and how I've seen women date.
Yeah. He said if he was propositioned as much as women were, he would also have an inflated sense of self, like he believes women does. This is hugely problematic. I didn't want to get into this in chapter one, that's why I wanted to skip it, because he uses someone else's quote, and so this is not his work. I wanted to get to it in his work, but let's do it. When it comes to women being propositioned more, the fact that you think that gives you a sense of self-esteem and think you are the best thing in the world is idiotic, particularly because you point out that these men don't actually want to be with these women. They want to sleep with these women. And if you're saying later that men will do anything to sleep with women, now women are left with the burden of figuring out which men want to just sleep with her and which men want to sleep with her and also be with her, which is what they want. So again, saying women have a lot of options and more options than men, you and I could debate as to what that option mean, because sexually, yes, but in terms of relationship, you say men sort of set the terms of relationship which indicate that men have more power, in your mind at least, in the negotiation power for relationship. I don't agree with you that women have more options. Women have more options if we're using the standards by men to quantify the options that women have. The reverse would also be true. It is
Um,
reductive and idiotic.
it's
Not
an
you, but
it's an option in the same way that we had an option between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, which people described as picking between garbage and filth to vote for. Sure, we have
Yo!
options in what, as well as
Did you
the
say
idea
garbage
that
and filth? Oh my
the
goodness.
idea that this would make women spoiled seems contradictory to me because he keeps describing how women don't care about sex or want sex with men. So why would something that they don't want or care about, i.e., the filth or the garbage, make them feel like they have an inflated sense of self-worth? I also think, like you said, wouldn't it make like a woman really insecure about the fact that throughout this book, the majority of this book is talking about a woman's value mainly being in having sex with men and how all these men just want to have sex with you, and it's pretty much you're being reduced to sex. Like your character, your personality, your contribution to society doesn't really matter outside of your ability to throw it back on me. So I don't feel like that will make someone have an inflated sense of
sense of
self-worth. I
self.
think it would do the opposite.
And it does do the opposite, because that's what go ahead, Anna. That's what the research
No,
shows.
no. That's what the what shows?
The research shows, which we're going to get into the
But
media where he try to use it to say, if you were a woman, the media caters to you. Literally, no, but we'll get into that when we get there. Go ahead.
I don't know if you want me to say this. Well, yeah, because we've had conversations. Um, oh, I guess page 14, that would be the second or third chapter.
Oh, let's move on to the second then, because I didn't want to get into fully this. The last thing I'll say on the first chapter is, and the book generally, my issue, I'm done trolling because now we're talking. The issue with the book that I find is it it reduces human interaction to mere transaction, which is fine if you want to do it like that. But that means you now have to do the hard work of understanding the interaction to then prescribe or even simply describe what is happening. The fact that we all came up with reasons around why the statement, the fundamental premise around women having more option is flawed, means that the foundation for which the book is built is not going to work from the get-go. Now, I heard one lady talked about how this is the same feminist coin? Absolutely not. So the people in the middle on YouTube are very annoying because they try to both sides every argument. And they're like, oh, I hate gender war and blah, blah, blah. It's not. One side is actually based in research, and you can disagree with their conclusion, but to say they're describing what is happening in the world as inaccurate would itself be inaccurate. To say Myron is inaccurate in his description of the world, not just Miami, but the world, would be accurate. If you say he's inaccurate, that is accurate. He cannot sit firmly on any of these principles. So let's say that before we continue. Let's read the super chat so we are up to date and then continue.
Timus, you know he used a software to compose this book. No man hours were spent. He got AI to do it. Thank you, 2Ls.
Petty, 1 second. If I'm not on mute, is there feedback? Is there an echo?
No.
Okay.
Level Up Single Mom. I wrote a book and I'm on their side. Period. Trademark TNT.
Oh, true.
Shout out to Level Up Single Mom. Period.
Level Up Single Mom does have a book out here, y'all. Capricorn Susan says, this is what health banter looks like among friends. I love it here.
Oh.
It's light, it's love, it's good.
It is.
If it's only 2 pages, is it a chapter or a prologue? It's not long
That
enough
is the whole chapter.
That's a chapter it should have been. Yeah.
Did y'all see the black man raging at 12-year-old on the train? I heard about that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I did not see that.
You don't want to, Themis.
Is it a book or a book report? Because 10 pages.
Oh, we're not done, though.
Well, it's 80, 84, 87 pages long. It does feel like a book report, right?
He said he needed to, these complex ideas are too much for men to understand. He needs to compress it down into something remedial like green eggs and ham so that they can metabolize it and understand it, I guess, without wasting too much time reading something like a book, like an actual book.
So you know what? I will say then, I'll say that he knows his audience. That I'm being charitable. Sir, Bandit Senior, you know your audience, you know their intellectual bandwidth, you know what reading levels they're at, you know their attention span, how long their attention span is. He knows his audience. I'll give him his flowers, and that's it.
Absolutely. We've seen the statistics around the differences in literacy between men and women these days. Curry Up and Eat says, did anyone go to support Tyrese? What's going on with Tyrese?
Tyrese wanted the entire civil rights movement to come show up to his court because he didn't want to pay for custody, pay child support. So instead of paying child support, he's paying his attorney thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to fight paying for his child. So just disgusting.
Can we talk about that though, Themis? Because I have a problem with those type of men. Like not now. I'm just saying, like in general, at some point we have to talk about men who exhaust all of their resources, and as a result,
remind me afterwards, and we'll talk about it on Friday.
That's weird. Why not just pay for like custody of the child?
So we just gonna go off on Tyrese now.
Never mind. My bad. Chapter 2 we were in.
Chapter 2.
I'm kidding. No. Go ahead. It's your show.
Let me see. Chapter 2 starts on like 3 really unrealistic sob stories from some people named Tom, Dick, and Harry. And Tom musters up the courage to ask out his crush. He gets rejected, and then the girl pulls his pants down in front of everybody at the school, takes a pic of his wee-wee, which is small.
That didn't happen.
This is how he wrote it. This is like the impact, apparently, of what he wrote. He posted the picture online on social media. The principal joined in laughing at him, and then he's ultimately executed by the police for being cringy.
Petty, maybe we could get in trouble for that since we're like misrepresenting the...
No, we won't.
In reality, what happened? In reality, Tom asked out his crush and she said no. And then he goes off into a tangent about how girls these days will just post something like that on social media and laugh at it with all their friends. something like that.
I'm
Wait.
laughing now. Listen.
All right, wait. So just for clarification, Tom, Dick, and Harry are three men, right? In chapter 2, the story is being told about Tom first, who is like 15 years old. Tom is in school. He musters up the courage. He's supposed to be like this innocent victim. Musters up the courage to go ask a young girl out. The girl, instead of saying no, shamed him, posted it, and used it to bolster her own image in the school, right? Because apparently that's what's happening in high school. Young boys ask girls out, and instead of saying no, girls shame them, then post it, and everyone makes fun of the boy that that asked the girls out. Dick is see some girl that he likes, ask her out, shows up to her place after she says yes, stands out in the cold, wait for her, wait for her. There's something important about Dick, though. Dick is saying, oh, I'm finally going to sleep with her, right? So that's what's in his mind. The girl doesn't pick up, doesn't respond. He's cold. He goes home. He looks on Instagram and finds this girl is out with an expensive restaurant with 2 plates. Harry is an old man who's been through 2 divorces. Both wives took him for everything he has. He's on his 3rd wife who nags him, and he can't do anything about it because he's not about to leave her. And that's all he has, and he doesn't have any money. And so she says, these are your options if you don't know how about women nature. And that is chapter 2.
I also like the way that he's using the different age demographics to demonstrate that it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what stage in your life you're in, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter what you, it doesn't, those variables.
That's not the important part for me. I like that because I think that is super important, but that's not how I interpreted it. But that's actually
it's a small part of it. There's so much going on. You have new dust, you have like mature dust, and then you have old dust. He wants his reader to he's trying to demonstrate to the reader that, hey, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care what your level of education is, how old you are, how handsome you are. This is the world. This is what's going to happen if you don't know what to do and how to maneuver. I also found it interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Wait, so those 3 stories represents archetypes at different age groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
That this could happen to you is possible. That this is likely to happen to you is less possible. In argumentation, when you are able to sua sponte bring up an argument from the opposing team in a book, for example, where you are going to dismantle the argument, if you represent the opposing side, which is that marriage and love and the quote unquote new contract can work, if you represent it in its most extreme form, you have already lost. Now, I don't need to be an academic. I don't need to be a debater. I just need to be a reasonable person who has some kind of experience in the real world to look at these 3 stories and question whether or not this is likely to happen, or is this an extreme case? And it is an extreme case. Why would you go to the extreme case if you're preaching this as a general reality and saying this is the potential of what could happen to you? Wish it could, but you are going to dismantle a system and an argument. Why not put what is the most obvious or likely outcome and then attack that, because it should fall neatly within your paradigm of why women are bad? Why not do that?
Well, that would be like a analyzing of dating and I guess marriage and men and women relations, whereas it's presented, these 3 archetypes I think are playing on men's
insecurities,
playing on men's fears, stuff like that, as opposed to legitimately arguing something. The book, you said, asserts that these 3 men aren't anecdotes, but rather that this is the quote unquote new normal or the new contract. So yeah, no, I think it's
I also thought that it was really weird the way that even in these extreme examples, at least for me in my mind, I don't know if this is the difference between the sexes, but at least for me in my mind, these examples are not they're not indicative of for me having the ability or the capacity to ruin someone's life, right? Like he said, you need to read this book, so or don't simp, don't simp to the point that it ruins your life. To me, these examples are things that with the exception of Old Dust, if you've been married 2 times and you can't get it the third time, you're the problem, Dusty. You're the problem, sir. But for the other examples, I don't think that these are extreme examples. I don't think that they're life altering or life ending. I feel like they're lessons in life that you can learn. So I think that if he's like trying to be a leader of men, it would probably be more psychologically beneficial for him to teach them that these things are not the end all be all. It's not going to define you. Maybe you should take this experience.
Wait, you don't think these are extreme examples?
Absolutely not. What?
You don't think a young man in school asking a girl out and her yelling, recording or taping and posting it and using it to bolster herself is an extreme example? You don't think that?
That was the only extreme.
By the way, extreme, I mean outlier.
Oh, that was the only extreme. The other two were extremely, to me, the other two were common.
That you show up to someone, you stand out in the cold, and it is 5 o'clock in the day, and you are around like coffee shops or whatever, but all of them are closed, so you couldn't go in any to use the restroom.
So go home. You go home. That's not extreme. It's only extreme if you stay outside in the cold.
No. That's what I'm saying. The scenario itself is extreme insofar as it's an outlier. It's not an average thing that happens.
Don't forget he checks her Instagram and finds her at a fancy restaurant with another man.
Like
that I promise you. So again, that might be the difference. Like for me, it's like, oh, that for me, it's like you're now. I know you're not messing with me. You didn't have the courage, or you're too.
Not. What do you think? Do you think that's an extreme situation?
That you are stood up is not an extreme reality.
No.
That you are stood up because you stood out in the cold at 5 p.m. in a city and everything around you is closed, so you couldn't go anywhere. That is an outlier.
That's not extreme to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It doesn't even make sense that these are extreme examples. It doesn't even make sense to me. But
wait, what are we debating? Wait, you think so? Maybe he has a point then. Maybe Marin has a point. If these are extreme, if these are normal occurrences, that's the problem.
Well, as a man who probably dates women, I don't think it is normal. I don't think it's normal for you to go to. So the scenario again, he set up a date. Well, apparently he thought he was going to have sex with her. She agreed, ghosted him for the rest of the day. I don't necessarily think that's an extreme.
That's not an extreme.
He showed up to her home.
Wait, pause. Annalicia and all of us agree that is not an extreme, but continue, Petty.
It's when he shows up to her home at 5 p.m.
Without having communicated.
Waits out in the cold for several hours. Let me finish the scenario. He shows up to her house after receiving no communication from her, waits out in the cold for several hours in a city where apparently everything closes at 5 p.m., so he can't go anywhere, and then checks her Instagram to find her on a date at a fancy restaurant with another man. This is very extreme to me, at least. The part where he shows up even though she flaked, maybe that's not so extreme. I think guys do that, but it's like the framing of the story is really extreme. And then a truck came out of nowhere and hit him because he was single and alone. Like it just feels like outlandish.
I feel like the examples being used as extreme.
This example specifically.
This one specifically. No, the old Dust. I thought that was like
no.
Forget about
This one specifically, where he's waiting in the cold.
Right. And then he goes to her place having not communicated with her at all in the interim. Like,
Yeah, no, we're not saying she's right. I am saying, if you set up a date and I'm supposed to come pick you up or come over to your place and I buy wine, it wasn't expensive wine. I don't know why they keep saying expensive imported wine. Girl, you bought it, whatever. So
at Walmart.
So you brought wine over to go on a date with her at her place. If women, let me just be clear, if Anna is correct and women are having men come out, stand in the cold, and just say, no, that's wrong. Like, that's absolutely wrong. But that it's wrong isn't the problem. The issue is, if it is extreme, which I think it is, it doesn't mean hate all women. But I also still think it's extreme. Wait, so women are doing this then? Look, I don't
What?
think that
Listen,
women were
hold on,
doing
wait a minute.
this.
I don't like the false dichotomy that this happens to men and not women. Like, how
No one said that.
no, that is what he says in the book. That
No,
would
no, no.
never
But we're
that
analyzing the book. And if this happens to women, that, to be fair, even if it does, I think it happens to men that women are standing them up. I don't think men stand up women at the same rate, but I don't think it matters for different reason. But are you saying this is a common occurrence?
a bandit being left in the cold, that's the extreme, right? Like, if the bandit is
No, people get stood up all the time.
okay, yeah, no, yeah, okay, so it's an extreme. It is okay. It's an extreme.
I mean, by extreme, I think maybe extreme is the wrong word, but it's an outlier. Like, these
Yeah,
things happen, but generally, it's not how it
it doesn't.
happens.
Right. Okay, got it. I just, to
Also,
me, I don't
also,
think
nowhere
that.
in the city closes at 5 p.m.
Yeah, and also because when I'm reading the book, following the statement or following his quote about this is what the book is for, to avoid like situations like Tom, Dick, and Harry, for example, I just thought that those situations, I don't know, like common sense could have, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you don't show up to someone home if you've been texting them all day and they didn't reply. If y'all set up a date, I'm not showing up to a date if we would set up a date and you didn't message me on the day off. It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Bye. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. Okay. I'm so sorry. I've completely derailed this entire thing. I'm so sorry, you guys. These are outliers, they're anomalies. We can move on. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you got to the second. We still on for tonight till I stop.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry because I thought about
Wait,
it and yeah.
no. But that's the thing. That situation can be taught to men. Like, if you text her the day of the date and she does not reply, maybe send her a second message. If you really are desperate, I wouldn't say a third, but do a third. Do not show up to somewhere without confirmation day off.
Right,
I
and the fact that like it's like it's so much common sense is just being like basic human what I thought would have been common sense at a certain age, right? Like when you're younger, okay, fine, but when you're like like 20s or like
he was
I feel like
27, right?
yeah, he's in his 20s. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's why I know that his intentions are that they're duplicitous, and his intent that he's adamantly driving hard to the hoop to present the idea that women are this way, women are bad, and men are good, men are this way. When he could have gone in an entirely different direction with the book. And I just feel like it's like low hanging fruit to say women bad, men good. Don't. This is how you don't be Tom, Dick, and Harry. Basically, like he's so.
The advice you gave, I think, was actually really good. In 2 sentences, I think you like gave more value to men who are dating than the entire book did. I feel
Wait,
like
wait. Someone said one of his followers are over here saying, "Oh, he did talk to her the day off. He did talk to her the day off." Dick went to grab a pricey bottle of wine ironed his shirt, polished his shoe, scheduled an Uber. However, his real investment was not the thing he bought, but the excitement anticipated to put him into the date, blah, blah, blah. On the night of, he texted Jane, letting her know he was on his way. She curiously did not text him back. Thinking nothing of it, that's where you went wrong. And then so on and so forth, and he never heard from him. They never spoke that day. Stop lying.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys, like man, like you guys will like imagine anything to like make the woman like no. Like if someone is not communicating with you or responding back, just like that's the end of that. You keep it moving.
Some super chats real quick before we continue chapter 2.
Wait, before you do. Soon it was 5:10 and Dick was starting to get cold. He looked for a coffee shop or any public place, but none were open. At 5:10, Dick was starting to get cold. At 5:10, he looked for a coffee shop or a public place, but none were open. So you tell me at 5:10 all these things were closed? Girl, you play too much. You didn't even have someone like check anything in this book. Let's read the super chat. Sorry.
And I'm also not waiting outside. I'm not waiting outside when it's hot for 10 minutes, let alone when it's brick cold. What do you mean you're waiting outside for 10 minutes? Like, sir.
No. He wasn't waiting for 10 minutes. He was waiting for what, 45 minutes? I forgot the thing.
About an hour.
He's the problem. It's giving Joe from You. It's giving stalker. It's giving you're the problem. It's giving like go home.
But the thing is, the fact that you imagine a situation and you made it like 5 o'clock and you made everything in your fictional situation close at 5 o'clock, you have problems. You have bigger problems than a woman.
The example starts off with him grabbing pricey wine and polishing his shoes and ironing his shirt, which we know that at least 99.5% of men don't do today. Citation needed. So that's when I knew that the whole thing was going to be a mess, but it is what it is. Miss Micro Magister said, even Chat GPT-3 would beg him for a living wage if it was used to write this book. Neuron loss. No, I have a marked lesion in my parietal lobe after. 3rd grade level, guys. 3rd grade level super chats only. Or Annalicia has to read them. Thank you. Myron wrote this while watching Black Mirror. That's what it feels like, an alternate dystopian reality that doesn't actually exist. Mia says, I'm going to need you to count the commas. We're professionals here. We need the core substance of the document to understand the context. Don't shortchange us. Let me do a search for commas real quick. I'll get y'all a citation.
How many commas did we count? Does anybody know?
It looks like 155 so far. I don't have the full count.
Did we finish the super chats?
Nope. Hurry Up and Eat says he could have named it Sandstorm, Doom, and Gloom. He could have. Or Dust Storm. Chef's kiss. What Petty described happens to women, not men. Was this in reference to showing up with a bottle of wine and polished shoes and iron shirt and being stood up in the cold for an hour and then watching the woman be on a date with a different man later that night on Instagram? Because I'm not a woman, so I don't know how y'all dating life is.
I'm gonna be honest. Like there have been times where girlfriend, like where we have conversations. Oh, what happened to so and so? And oh, I didn't even know he had a girlfriend. I saw his story. He's up. Like it happens. This happens a lot.
Me waiting outside and you going to a date with someone else while I wait for an hour while all of the mythical shops around me are closed feels different than you find out that the man you're talking to has a wife.
Yep. This story felt like it was set up to make people angry, and it's like, girl, where are you that everything is closed around you at 5? I want to know where you were. It's not that you couldn't find anything because she lived out in the boonies or whatever. It's where were you where you found the places and they were all closed at 5:10.
And the sad part, if he hadn't took the 17 to 25 minutes to polish his shoes, he could have made it there before they closed. Coco Not Chanel said, child, not you got the fresh and fit stands in here.
Yeah,
Apparently they're
I
here.
saw a few of them. Let them come up and let Demas and Petty deal with them. Talk to them. Speak to them.
I don't talk to men over 30.
All right, so let's move further that because then he goes on to explain this is why he's going to tell you female nature and biological reality, blah blah blah. No citation, no citation. Girl, I'm not about to do that. And so let's get to chapter 3, where the meat starts. The old contract. So the old contract was nothing sexy or exciting. It was it was boring despite all the flowers, white weddings, blah, blah, blah. So he said men provided resource and protection, women provided sex and children. Pause. The providing of sex seems very odd a statement because it takes women out of the sexual act, right? And it's very consistent. It is consistent with Myron's belief that women's pleasure is not important, right? So if you believe that, the reason you believe that is because you don't believe women want sex, you believe women give sex to men. That is a very odd position to take when you are saying women are 3 or 4, is it 3 or 4? Is that the number?
Yeah, that's the number.
Yeah. So if you're calling them that and that they're sleeping around and all of this stuff, are they doing it because they just want to give it to people and they don't enjoy it? Like, I don't understand. Are they just doing it for money?
To me, it reads as very predatory to me. That's like to me it sounds very exploitative. And it really deduces women to nothing more than really and truly like an organ. They're just organs. For you to take that from them. Like I understand the way that he posits the information, but for me the undercurrent is it's extremely like predatory. That's my feeling. It could be implicit bias. I'll acknowledge it now, but it just it gives me the ick.
I've heard men, I don't like this either, but I've heard men like in real life brag about being able to please her or whatever. So like to think that like they're priding themselves in like not pleasing, like Marin has said, women's pleasure is not important. So when you write that they give you this, it's very much like they're not a part of it. So that makes sense. Anyway, that's not important. So that was
It is.
the old contract. The new contract is that I don't need a man, men are trash, down with the patriarchy, believe all women. You get the idea. Essentially is what he says the new contract is. The juxtaposition seems odd, right? So he's going to talk about human nature a lot. Actually, I don't want to take up this time. How did you guys feel about the third chapter, titled "The Old Contract"?
I'll let you go, Petty. I'm talking away.
Yeah, it was weird. The old contract is apparently men provide money and women provide sex. And he said, I think they provide children if they wanted to, which is weird because I don't think if they wanted to was a part of this contract. No. And the book says this is human nature, but interestingly enough, it was only human nature up until women received rights and autonomy. Interesting. Which is like, it feels like it makes some of these same arguments, interestingly enough, that slave owners, since we were talking about pearly things a week or two ago, used to make about Black people, right? Oh, they're just naturally submissive to white people because they have an inherent biology to be led by good leaders. It feels like things that I would legitimately hear a slave master say about a slave. If it were human nature, though, about Black people and about women, then you wouldn't have to literally prevent women from having rights for this contract to work, right? They also sprinkled in a little transphobia, shamed men who have open relationships. Shout out to Destiny. And it claims that men are punished for pursuing women. And it gives the example of, for example, buying flowers back in the day being sweet, but now it's seen as creepy if not done under the exact right circumstances. And that's like really important to me, because of course it's creepy if it's not done under the right circumstances. It's like the fact that you can no longer just do something to a woman without any what's it called,
repercussions,
without any repercussion. Like now you can't just go up to a random woman and smack her on the butt. It's an appropriate setting to do that, probably maybe with your wife, assuming she consents, not with like random people. So yes, under the right circumstances, right? So I don't know, it feels like he's describing all of this as bad, but all of this seems like really, really good that we've evolved as a society to
Come
have
this far.
stuff.
but
Yeah.
isn't evolution in and of itself a part of human nature? Like, isn't that a part of the human condition? It treats
For women, it seems like it for women. Men seem to want to like devolve. I have no clue. I don't know. I mean, based on what he said in his book. It also said women like financial stability. This was really interesting. There was a line about women liking financial stability in this chapter because it's the foundation of a good stable
family, yeah.
relationship and family. And then the next line is like, and men like sex just because. But if you're the right girl, he might love you after the sex, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
all right.
Maybe.
But so he made some arguments though that men are confused today about their roles. And he tries to tie biological reality as intrinsic in the old contract, where the new contract is counter biology. This doesn't make sense, because if women wanted money and resource, you are right in that today they no longer need the man to get the money and the resource. So you are absolutely like, if you take his theory correct, men are obsolete. Just FYI. If you take fully what he's saying, then men are useless currently. And that's not true, because human beings provide more than sex and money.
But the book reduces men and women to tangible objects.
Yeah.
Right. The book objectifies men in the same way that it objectifies women. So he's at least I'll give him that. One more. Oh God, I'm not.
Oh no, he's not actually consistent, because he goes like he says the "I don't need a man" trope is not true, but then ends the book by saying in reality women don't need men. It's like, why were you mad at it in the beginning? You're treating men don't need women don't need men as if it's something bad. It's a speech, it's the new contract, it's a propaganda, it's wrong, it's a lie. Men build this country. Also, I don't know if he means don't need them in a relationship sense or a societal building sense. But that's neither here nor there. On one hand, women don't need men. You disagree with that, but in the closing, when you wanted to throw it in people's face, you're like, in reality, women don't need men.
He said that in the beginning too, Themis.
Yeah, no, but he despises it in the beginning. He treats it as if it is a propaganda, it's a lie,
right.
It's a feminist push, but they don't.
Also, he made reference to a lot of like evolutionary psychology. Citation needed. But really, it didn't make...
Pause. Oh my God. Sorry. This is not petty. So I don't expect everyone to like cite in like the way that a legal document cites the cases. But he cites the most random things. And like you just said, the things that need citation. When you're talking about human evolution and biology, those are the things you need to cite. Not Beyonce and Jay-Z and then cite to the shade room. He didn't. But like, that's not what we need citation for.
Yeah.
When you're throwing out stats that you get proposition over 1,000 times per month, for women, citations, please. Sorry, go ahead, Anna. I cut you off too many times.
No. I'm like getting tight, because what do you mean 1,000? Like, this dweeb has never talked to a real human woman in his whole life. Like he has never converted. And so when I say he's never talked to them, whatever women he's actually spoke to, because of his low opinion of women, even women of substance, what he might regard as substance, to me, all women are substantive. A woman speaks and he hears wah, 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 because evolutionary psychology, biology, men and women are different. He doesn't listen to women. He doesn't understand women. He doesn't understand them biologically, socially, psychologically. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But I did have a problem before we move on with the chapter. I had a problem when he said he asserted. It wasn't even and he said it as kind of like a slight backhanded thing, but he asserted that transgender women hate themselves. And I thought that was very icky. He said if you hate yourself enough to, and I'm not going to go on, but he does talk about transgender people in an extremely pejorative way, and I thought that it was ick. It gave me the ick. I didn't like it.
I mean, if he wants to talk about self-hate, whoever's reading this book gotta hate themselves outside of doing reviews, because I don't.
I hated myself after I read the book. I hated myself.
I also don't know why y'all are trying to, he contradicted himself in the end, in the beginning. When you're reading on a third grade level, like his audience might be, you're probably going to forget what just happened in the last paragraph before you move on. So they probably don't even know that he's contradicting himself.
But not only is he contradicting himself later, but like philosophically, he contradicts himself. He said it is futile. You are going to be sad. It cannot work if you try to deny nature. It says you cannot deny nature, right? And he says that as a response to what women are doing in the new contract, i.e., pursuing careers instead of children and marriages, right? While telling men to not pursue women, which he thinks is their biological imperative. That you are telling men to deny nature, which you just said they cannot deny, and it's not going to work. But so unlike a higher level, right? If you're saying denying nature is just bad, what are you saying? We should just succumb to our nature, right? Like, forget the fact that we literally don't do a lot of things we feel like doing because it would be inappropriate. So we do this all the time. Part of why the human animal is seen as above the rest is our ability to, one, tell stories, to keep memories, and to build, and to deny our nature, right? Deny ourselves the pleasure of whatever it is that we want to do, i.e. instant gratification. So that's fine. But you're saying your principle is we can't deny nature. I'm going to reduce this to we should not be reducing the nature that pulls you to men to create children as a woman. Does that not work the opposite way? Because you are telling men don't pursue women because they deserve less. That is the title of your book. If you tell them to do that, aren't you infringing on their happiness and their ability to fulfill their life? Because, well, you said we can't deny it, but you are telling them to deny it. Anywho, that's annoying, but I shouldn't put in that much brain power into this. My bad.
He put in as much brain power as a gnat into this book, and we're here like surgically tearing it apart. Like he's not worth it. He's so stupid.
I mean, he says women don't need men. If you accept that, then go sit somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? Just go sit somewhere. If you accept that, stop trying and see what happens.
Well, he can't get money from young men if he does that. One last thing I had on chapter 3. The book goes on in multiple parts to say that without women's high standards, historically, men would have innovated absolutely nothing at all. And that was crazy to me. I forgot the part of my history book where we all learned that George Washington Carver invented the peanut so he could get that cooter cat. The book also asserts that women have high standards, but the standard, at least from what I've read from the research recently, is be emotionally available. And the book keeps saying that men will innovate to meet those standards, which is, where all our technology and stuff comes from. Men invent it because they want some cooter cat. But if that's true, then where are the overwhelming masses of men with good emotional regulation and good emotional intelligence that women seem to be looking for, according to the research? So I would need a citation for whatever he's talking about in this chapter.
The citation is dust. It's just dust. And I think it's interesting because this book is antithetical to the advancement of men needing to literally start tapping into their higher self, their higher brain, higher thinking, the nuance, the esoteric, this book is antithetical to any type of development or emotional growth. Like this book, like they're devolving. They're devolving. Like I'm gonna blink and he's gonna be like a caveman. Like they're devolving before our eyes. Women, no offense, women are continuing to evolve. Women are continuing to adapt in the environment, in the economic the economic. Oh my God, what's the word? Climate. For fuck's sake,
The
the
word you're
dust.
looking for is sexual marketplace.
No, I'm thinking of the economic climate. Women are continuing to evolve, and it's like men are devolving in the wrong areas of their personhood, of their humanity. It's like sad to see on one end, but on the other end, it's like bye. It's like bye. Like go back to the cave, go back to Greece and commiserate amongst each other, and you know what happened in Greece. Go have fun. It's like enough. It's enough. Like dumb.
to close
Stupid.
off chapter 3, the super chats. If you guys are done.
I'm done.
Child, not you got the fresh and fit stands in here. LMAO. They're in here mad. Yeah.
Wait, do you guys want drop a one if you're fresh and fit stand and you want to come up and defend the book? Go ahead.
They're in here, and I said, Themis, please, you have to let them up, and you and Petty.
Yeah,
They're
because
not, they're not. So what I learned about men on this channel recently is they'll talk in the chat, but they're too afraid to like come up and defend something. So it's fine. Go ahead. Betty.
No. You have first of all, who understands Big Latin? Themis, platigate, kitigate, okay? Berigina the guys. Listen, if you like Myron or the other ugly one, listen. If you like the book, if you read the book, whatever. But please, like, hit the link, have a conversation, help Themis and help Petty understand the benefits of the book, understand why the book is important. Okay, like this is a safe space. Okay.
yeah, of course we do accommodate men here always, always and all the time. And of course it could be that I just simply misunderstood the entire book. That is always a possibility. I do read at a 3rd grade level, and if anybody wants to come up and educate me who has read the book before and might be interpreting it better than I could, then I would love to actually hear a different perspective. I'm always open. YouTube Princella did a decent job on Fresh and Fit considering the setup. I don't know who that is.
What? Sorry. What was that?
YouTuber Princella did a decent job on Fresh and Fit considering the setup.
Oh, she was absolutely surgical with them. Themis, you need to, when I say you need to watch those two those lives, they were, when I say my mind was blown, they were revelatory. Like we need to watch that. You're gonna like it.
Yeah.
I'll give it a look as well. You need to speak with Princella, the Queen Maker, on YouTube. She went on Fresh and Fit. Oh my God, she had them confused and sounding dumb. Okay, Princella's getting some praise today, so I'll look at it after this. Are y'all okay after reading the book? What's left of me is okay. Of course, the brain cells that died won't come back. I don't think that's how that works. So it is what it is.
I don't like who I see in the mirror anymore. I don't think that I'm as smart as I once was. I fumble. I feel insecure after reading that book. I feel slow.
Yeah. After reading such a masterpiece, I don't even know how, how can I ever catch up to a genius like this? Gia says, hate is a poison you drink while hoping it hurts others. Misogyny is hate that's ruining lives and snatching hairlines. Men let it go and seek help. That sounded very, very targeted towards a specific individual, but
that is, the link is only for people who want to defend the book and not trollingly defend the book. Actually, someone who is a fan of them. I don't like to not have the other side represented. So
and just so you guys know, just so like the stakes are not that high, the bar is not that high. You don't have to go kind of like point for point or pull up any data. You don't refer to data. Just come up and just give a general understanding of what you got from the book, why you think it's important for young men or 50, 60-year-old 2-time divorced men. Yeah, like we're not gonna judge you. Like if we just want to know what you think this book has to offer that that common sense does not, essentially.
Yeah. Chapter 3 that we just reviewed
We're done, yeah.
wasn't really necessary. I mean, it could just be like the old contract was men gave this, women gave that, done. There's not so he said nah, sister said
Jose, this is not a setup, Jose. Like, look, like, let's be honest. Themis is, you're not going to meet people more charitable than Themis and Petty. I'm not going to insert myself into the dialogue. This is like men talking to men about why this book is important to men. I'm out of it.
That's actually really upsetting, because I do like opposite opinions on stuff. So
and Petty is young.
Wait. Because I do actually want to talk to someone who supports the book. I won't push back. I would only ask questions. I will make no affirmative statements. I would just ask questions. Don't say that, Petty, but that's all I would do. Ask questions.
But don't you think a little needling, a little pushback? Don't you think that might be good for him? Maybe he could learn something.
No, I can ask. I can ask questions.
Yeah.
Please, guys. Like, Petty is really young, so Petty is still.
This is what's upsetting me, actually. You would think the people who are defending this book, the people who read this book, real men, masculine men, would be ready to defend something, their honor, their masculinity, something.
I agree.
But I mean, it is what it is.
I just want to say something, and then I'm done, because Petty is so young and he's still trying to figure out what space works best for him. And I'm talking to like all the men in the chat. Petty is still very young. He's impressionable. He's still trying to listen to understand.
Wait.
So
How young is young to you? How young is young to you? Because I'm 42.
Quiet. I'm trying to do something. If you want, he's still impressionable. If you want to come up here and help him understand, it would be much appreciated.
Nah, this feel like a drag. This feel like a secret drag.
Okay. You know what?
Somebody feel like a secret drag. No.
Someone said it in the chat, and you're ruining everything. You've ruined it, and now it's ruined.
It just feels like a drag.
Myron is watching, right?
I don't probably.
Not probably. He's watching. Oh. I just got the notification.
Why doesn't he come up and defend his?
Because he doesn't feel.
He would never do that. The way that Princella had, it's not even that she had him up against the ropes, So
wait. So this is not. If you're a troll, we're not doing it. So talking about his name is Myron Diver. Who is this?
Am I on?
Huh?
Am I on?
Who is? Do you want us to call you Myron? You're on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you trolling?
No.
All right. Do you think we're wrong about this book?
Have you read the book?
No, I haven't read the book.
It's only 87 pages.
Well, I haven't bought the book. I don't plan on it, but I have heard, listened to their podcast quite a bit, so I'm familiar with his views in general.
Oh, all right. So we're not going to talk about the book. You think what Myron is doing is good?
There's things that I agree with and things that I disagree with. I think in general,
is familiar. The voice sounds familiar. No, Themis?
Yeah, it sounds like Kenny trying to change his voice.
I'm not Kenny. Whoever that is.
It sounds like ABBA.
Yeah.
So what do you agree with?
I think he has decent insights into, what motivates women in general. And I think one of the biggest things, and this actually has nothing to do with women, but he's telling men that you're not okay just the way you are. That, look, you need to work hard. It's not okay to whine and complain and whatever. It's like, you need to put in the work, get in the gym, learn a skill.
Sorry, this feels. I'm only cutting you off because it feels like the Andrew Tate defense.
Well, he says the same thing, and that's why they agree on a lot of things.
Wait,
So
so
I mean,
that's why
it's
you watch Fresh and Fit because he tells you to improve.
well, I mean, for me personally, I enjoy the well, first let me say I don't really watch it regularly. I've watched a few. I mean, at this point, it's the same thing. You know, you bring on a bunch of girls, they argue about this and that. It's the same thing over and over again. But it was very interesting. Um, I guess getting an insight into the thought process, the type of arguments that women will make or whatever. It's helped me, I guess, better understand some of the tactics that women will
What do
tend to use
what do you
with.
think women do? No, Anna. Nope. You said no. What do you think are some things about women that you learn?
Uh, well, one of the more interesting things is that I finally have a full understanding that um, women tend to communicate in euphemisms and allegories. So you rarely get like a straight answer, especially when it's something that is.
You think women are
Wait,
Edgar
no,
Allan
Anna.
Poe?
No. Nope. We said we wouldn't
No, women are not
attack.
Edgar Allan Poe. What do you mean
No,
allegories?
no, Anna.
me, me,
No.
me,
Nope.
meaning that things are usually said in a way that's just less direct than that what men are used to. Like
So
when men,
when women say they want an emotionally mature man who can support himself, um, what is what is allegorical about that?
well, I mean that's not really a good example. Like a better example of something would be like if a woman says a man is controlling, for instance. What that typically means is that that's a man that will hold a woman to a certain standard, and she just wants to be free to do whatever she wants to do when she wants to do it. She's more of a free spirit, and there's
Okay,
nothing wrong with that.
wait, what is an allegory about that? A woman said she does not want a man to tell her what to do, i.e., she doesn't want a controlling man. I feel like that's very straightforward.
Well, but the thing is, in a relationship, it's necessary to have compromise. Everyone's not going to be
Wait,
able
so
to
you
do
are
what
saying
they
she,
want all the
wait,
time.
no.
Right.
So it doesn't sound to me that you are saying it's confusing that they're saying it. It sounds like you're saying they shouldn't say it.
No, saying someone is controlling
Yeah.
implies that they want everything their way all the time. When the reality of it
It
is
doesn't have to mean all the time. It just means they want to change you or they want to make you do what they want you to do.
exactly, and that's
All right.
an incorrect assessment of what
Why is
is
it
actually going on.
no, they're not assessing what's going on. They said they don't want this.
Well, again,
But
calling
what is
someone
confusing? Wait, no, what is confusing about a woman saying, I don't want a controlling man? I feel like that's very plain.
no, it's not confusing. What controlling means
Wait,
is
so I thought your claim was that women do not speak plainly.
correct.
Somewhat, and your example for them not speaking plainly is that they don't want a controlling man. Them saying they don't want a controlling man is exactly what you just described that I understand. So how is that vague or misdirecting in any way?
Well, it's a caricature. The idea that because someone wants anything from a person that they're controlling. I mean, that's what a relationship is,
No,
right?
you just
There's a give and
described.
take.
No. You said she wants to go and do anything, and you don't. Men don't want them to do that, and men have standards and wouldn't want them to do that. That is a form of control. She does not want that. It doesn't sound like you don't understand. It sounds like she should not care about the man being controlling.
No, I'm saying that behavior is not controlling. I'm saying
No,
wanting someone who uh, 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 again, any relationship is going to have a certain amount of compromise or whatever.
No, pause.
That is being described as controlling.
Wait. That is a premise that you think I'm accepting that I have not. That there are going to be compromises is fine if the woman agrees to these compromises. If she doesn't and you try to make her do what you want, that is controlling. So if she doesn't want to do it, then move on. If you try to make her do it, you are controlling.
Well, I mean, we're talking about single women, so obviously they're single for a reason. So the relationship did end. And then they will speak.
No. We're not talking about single women. We're talking about women's ability to talk about what they want and be clear.
No, I'm talking about a woman who is now single.
No. We said, and by we I mean you said women speak in ways that are unclear. And
Correct.
one of the examples you gave is that women don't want men that are controlling, and somehow you don't think you understand what controlling mean.
No, they're describing men as controlling. And what controlling actually means is a man who's going to have some sort of standard or have some sort of expectation. And these women are single because she wants to do whatever she wants.
No. You're getting out of hand in a way that is annoying because we can talk back and forth without like being upset. The point at which we're talking about why people are single is absolutely irrelevant. It is irrelevant because you are here to explain to me what you have learned from Fresh and Fit. In your explanation, you say women don't say things clearly. It sounds like women are very clear if the example you give is what you're talking about, that men are they don't want a controlling man. All right. I think we don't agree, but that's useless, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. Give me another example of how women are unclear.
Oh boy.
Or actually, give me an example of something you've learned. I don't want to like pin you down. This is not a like got you.
Right. What's a good example off the top of my head? Well, I think the biggest thing I've learned in general is that women tend to see reality through their feelings. What they feel is reality. Well, I don't want to get into political issues, but okay, let's go there. If you take an issue like, let's say, abortion, if you look at what an abortion is, it's clearly the killing of a human life. But a lot of women will support it and pretend, oh, it's healthcare, it's this wonderful, noble thing. So
you think it's a human as soon as the woman is when is it a human?
Well, it's a human life as soon as conception happens. I mean, that's just a biological fact.
Just wanted to make sure. So I think if I agree with you, I think I'm for abortion, but if I step into your world, I would argue that such a statement should come with the idea that as soon as a woman is impregnated, child support should start. Like I feel like that's the natural next step, right?
Well, I mean, there's an argument for that. Obviously, you would need to prove paternity if it's in question. Yeah. But I mean, this whole thing.
No. But you would agree with that then? We can prove if we prove paternity, then child support should start at conception because, like, we need to take care of the human life.
Well, here's my thing. If
it's a yes or no question. I feel like that's an easy yes. Because if you don't say yes, we're not going to move on. So, like, that's an easy yes for you.
Well, okay, but my position is that there shouldn't be child support because you're supposed to be married. No. And if your wife is pregnant, you're taking care of her.
Before we get ahead, we can get to child support in a moment. But we're in the real world where child support exists, and it's to take care of the child. So it is a yes for child support legally, to be consistent, right? Like states should be able to make men pay child support at this point, right?
Well, that's something that may need to be done retroactively once paternity is established. Obviously, you'd have to look at, well, what are the expenses? So sure, there's a case for that. Absolutely.
All right, good. So women can terminate and men pay child support as soon in your world as the woman knows she's pregnant, and we do
Well,
retroactive if they can't. So I mean, I'm fine.
well,
Men pay up. I think men should pay for it. Yeah, I don't. I am for abortion, but if I'm in your world and I'm like, oh, it's a human life, then you start paying as soon as it's a human life. Like, I mean, I feel like that's just fair.
well, I mean, sure, but my main point was that the issue of abortion is turned into like now it's noble. We're pretending that you're not taking a human life and that this is healthcare and this and that's a right. It's a human right to take someone else's life. And I'm just like, that's a completely emotional argument. There's no basis. Like if you're going to defend abortion for what it is and say, look, I don't want to have this kid. I don't want to have this human life. So I have a right to take it. And that's what you should be arguing. That's a rational argument. To pretend that it's some sort of noble, healthcare, we're saving, it's a woman's right. That's an emotional argument.
You don't think there are?
Go ahead.
You don't think there are pro-choice rational arguments? Like there are. I feel like for both men and women, not just specifically women, there's a lot of controversy about whether or not human life starts at conception, whether or not it starts at 3 weeks, whether or not it starts at 6 weeks. This doesn't feel like an emotional argument that I've heard before. I've never heard women like en masse talking about, oh my God, I'm going to the abortion clinic for my 5th one today. High five, empowerment. I've never heard that in my life, but I could be in a different space than you. Generally people are talking about it in a way of healthcare, not necessarily specifically women, but men and women generally.
Well, do you believe that abortion is healthcare? Because I mean, by definition, it's like the opposite of healthcare.
Well, what is healthcare to you?
Healthcare is something that improves or maintains health, not like ends lives, right? Like
yeah. So if I had, for example, a man,
I have a question for him. I'm so sorry. I was thinking about this because when people say this, I'm always kind of confused a little bit. But maybe it's because I am not I'm not understand. So you're telling me when you look at this, you can tell that it's a human. Be honest.
Well, I wouldn't say, oh, that's definitely a human baby. But I mean, you can, but I don't know why that's relevant.
No, so is this a human? Like, I don't understand. Like, can you see a developing human?
I see a developing life. At that point, can I say for sure it's human? No, it could be some other animal, but it's definitely a developing life of some sort. So I can't say at that point, to be honest.
Are you vegetarian?
No.
So
but I don't eat like other people though.
No, but when you say something is a developing life, you do understand how that is conceptually
human life.
You're lying. You can't look at this and tell that this is a developing human life. You can't.
Well, I can't tell, but the question is like I don't understand what your point is. So because it doesn't look like a human, here's the reality. Every single one of us here has looked like that at some point.
How do you know this is a human? You don't. No, none of us
I don't.
know.
Well, I don't by looking at it, but the whole reason for an abortion is because a woman finds out she is having a child and decides, hey, I don't want to have a baby. So she goes and gets it killed. That's what an abortion is. So, I mean, if we're talking about facts, logic, that is facts and logic.
Wait.
I mean, that's just rational. That's just the reality.
Wait, I thought a human defined is something that can survive on its own in terms
No,
of the ability to breathe and like,
no,
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 how do you
no.
define it then?
A human life. That
Mhm.
that a human life. And so
Wait, no, that's not,
what
you did not. I'm going to move on from this because it's annoying to me, but how do you like,
No, no, but okay, let me explain. So when people say, "Oh, well, it's not a baby, it's a fetus." Well, whatever label you want to give it, this is all part of the human life process, from
yeah, but
embryo
the
to
semen,
baby to infant to child to adult to elderly. That's
wait, so
all.
would ejaculation be killing a human
No,
life?
no,
Why?
because a unique human life is formed when the egg is fertilized. So you need the sperm and the egg, and it needs to be fertilized. That is the start of
So
a
if you
unique
take the
human life.
morning after pill, you have aborted a child. You have killed a human.
Possibly, possibly, yes.
What do you mean possibly? It's a yes or no. You were you
Well,
said
well, again, that would depend if the egg was fertilized, but we
all right.
don't know that with a morning after pill. We don't know, so I can't say for sure. But what we do know is that when a woman gets an abortion and she finds out, yes, I'm pregnant, she goes and gets an abortion, that she is killing a human
All right,
life.
good, great. So you have made the argument that it's about the human life. That's all I wanted. Let's take the next step then. Sorry we took this long. I just wanted to make sure that that's what you were saying.
No problem.
When a woman is RAPE, can they not have an abortion?
Well, I don't like
Before you
answering this.
answer, wait. Before you answer, please remember that it is about the child that is a human life. Go answer, because this is not a got you. I'm not asking you, and I want you to stay principle.
Right. So I'm going to answer, but I'm going to start by saying this. The position of radical abortionists is that it's a woman's right, and that's so therefore she should be able
I don't
to
care. I'm sorry.
abort the baby for no reason or any reason. So I'm going to answer this, but this is not the position of
From your
abortionists.
position, what should that person do? I didn't actually
Uh,
care about the developing or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure because people lie, trying to figure out where we're going.
right. So I believe that if anyone deserves death, it would be the rapist and not the innocent baby.
No.
So I
That is,
can't defend. I can't defend saying that it's right to kill this innocent baby because of what
all right. So if
the
you're saying,
man did, right?
wait. So if a woman is hard, then they should not be able to get an abortion. If you were in power, you would not allow a woman who was raped to get an abortion.
I would not have the
It's a yes or
innocent
no
baby. That's
question. Why do
correct.
you
That's
do this?
correct. No,
All right.
that's correct.
All right. So you wouldn't. How about a child is hard?
Well, a child wouldn't get pregnant.
A 13-year-old is a child.
Well, again, it's
Wait, what do you mean a child wouldn't get? I feel like you don't understand biology now.
anyways. The point is that no, I do not
I
support.
asked you about a child.
I do not support
I
abortion under
asked
any.
you, what if a child was hard?
Well, if that child was pregnant,
Does this wait before you answer? Does this fetus? Does this human life no longer become a human life?
no, it's still a human life.
All right, but can we kill the human life in your mind now?
No, we should not.
All right. What if the likelihood? So you would force a child to carry through a pregnancy?
Well, again,
No, I'm asking you a question. No, well, it's a yes or no question. You would force a child to carry through a pregnancy.
well, the purpose is to frame it as if like, oh, I'm trying to be cruel.
Yeah. No, I'm not asking if you're trying to be cruel. I'm telling you this happens. So I'm asking you, in your world, would you allow that?
No, I wouldn't.
Why? I thought it was a human life.
No, I'm saying I would not allow the abortion.
All right. So you would allow a child to carry it. You would force a child to carry a pregnancy.
I wouldn't use that framing, but if that's
No,
the
what
framing
do you
you
mean
want
you
to
wouldn't?
use,
What is wrong with the framing? Aren't you forcing a child to do that? If you tell a child you cannot have an abortion after you've been AR'd, aren't you saying you would force a child to carry a pregnancy?
preventing a murder. That's how I would frame it. So it's a
No,
matter of framing, right?
no, I don't care about framing. Would you force a child to carry a pregnancy?
I would stop a
No,
murder.
yes or no. It's a yes or no question. Would you force a child to carry a pregnancy?
Sure.
All right. Now, if the likelihood of the child dying increases, would you still force the child?
If the mother's life is at risk,
Mm-hmm.
and to save the mother's life, absolutely, then do the abortion. To save the
Because the
mother's life,
mother's life is
absolutely.
more important than the child's life. Why?
Well, why would we take the risk of losing both?
Why? No, there is no risk of losing both. I just asked a very specific question. Why do you choose the mother's life over the child if they're both life? Are they not equal life, and why not?
Again, I'm not sure what sort of scenario where it would be either or. I mean,
There
Is
is.
if the
he trolling?
mother's,
Is
if
he trolling?
I think so,
oh,
but I'm
can,
fine with him
no,
trolling because this
no, I'm
happens
not.
a lot. A lot of women
This
die in childbirth, so I don't know what he's talking about.
How
But
many die from abortions?
go ahead and answer. Not as many as who that dies from childbirth.
Well,
Now,
because luckily we still live in a society where a woman's more likely to give birth than to kill the child.
yeah, but
But anyway,
percentage-wise, no. Answer the question, please. Sorry.
sorry. What was the question again?
Why? Well, you didn't answer the question. Would you allow for an abortion if the mother life is at risk?
Yes,
Why?
to save the mother's life.
Why is the mother's life more important than the child?
Again, I wouldn't frame it as saying her life is more
I don't care
important,
about the
but
framing. Why would the
no.
mother life be? You are making a decision that you can terminate a life, in your mind, a life, because you want to save the mother's life. Why is, if you think this is a life, why is the mother's life more important?
Well, the two are attached. The baby
Why would the
survival is
mother's life?
dependent. Hold on, sorry.
No, it's not. In this scenario, it's not.
So, so you want to create a scenario that doesn't exist to make a point that doesn't
No,
make
a
any
lot of
sense?
doctors do this, actually. A lot of doctors, this can be a high risk pregnancy. You might not make it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's
Yeah,
not.
no,
It's not
but
an
why?
either or.
I understand your thinking, and it's fine. You can say I haven't thought this through. That's fine.
No,
Why is
I've thought this
why
through thoroughly.
why is the mother's life more important than the child's?
It's not more important.
Then why would you kill the mother, not the child? Or why would the reverse?
Because the two lives are attached. If the mother dies, chances are the
Well, why?
child's
No,
gonna
you are
die.
making a value judgment. I'm going to end this
That's
call
not a.
now.
That's but
All
dude.
right, let's
That's not
move
a.
on.
That's not a.
Let's
Okay,
just
we
say,
can
all
move
right,
on from
fine.
this.
Wait, no, it's done. You don't have an answer. What else have you learned from Profession Fit? Because apparently you haven't learned that from Profession Fit. I've never heard them do this. So next, I'm getting annoyed, and I shouldn't, but like, I don't like this argument. I even showed my full hand, and you're still like not knowing how to answer a question to be logically consistent or to win. I don't know, but it's ridiculous now. So let's move on to the point where, what have you learned? Like, tell me what you've learned about women from Fresh and Fit.
Oh boy. Okay. What else?
Sorry, Prince Fred, I wanted you to go down the question, but my question wasn't about whether or not he thinks it's a child or not. I just wanted to pin down that he thought it was alive. And usually it's people go in and out of that argumentation. So I just needed to make him argue and for me to understand his argument. So that's why I interrupted.
Yeah, so I'll add, I think another important thing is that it's far more important to be competent than to be nice. That it's more important to.
Do you think that those are diametrically opposing ideas that cannot exist together?
There is some. There is some conflict between the two, because one of the things with being nice is that you don't really stand for anything, and you do need to again hold to certain principles.
Wait, pause, Myron. By your name, I feel like you're trolling. Are you like actually trolling?
No, I'm being.
Hold on. I think he thinks he's doing it in like a really sophisticated way. It's really not that sophisticated. I also don't understand the idea that competence and do you think that it demonstrates competence to be emotionally intelligent?
Well, okay, what do you mean by emotionally intelligent? Like, can you give me like a description of, like, how would you describe that to someone who doesn't really know what that means?
I would tell them to go to Webster. Webster will tell you. There's a definition. It's literally defined in the English in a dictionary. Are you actually in real time asking me to define it because you don't know?
Well, I have an idea, but I want to make sure that we're speaking about the same thing.
Right. Well, what's your idea?
So I would describe emotional intelligence as someone who views their feelings as primary and as reality. So
you're wrong.
Wait.
No.
Okay, so
No, we're not doing this. I'm done. I can't do this. Someone saying you're emotionally intelligent is not saying you use your feelings as reality. Like that's not even in the same.
It's actually the
arena.
opposite. It's actually the opposite. Being emotionally intelligent is able to differentiate between the perceiving how you feel and what's happening around you. That's actually a part of being emotionally intelligent, being able to gauge the environment and be able to understand the way that you are engaging with the environment emotionally and vice versa. It's just the ability to really like understand how you're feeling, understand how others are feeling, and what the interplay between those two things are and how it might impact a relationship or a situation.
Right. So from my perspective, what I hear is something where it's like
not your perspective. We defined it. Okay, your definition is wrong.
Okay.
Let's go with what I said.
Let's stop. I don't know if you're trolling. I don't know if this feels hostile. I don't think this is an hostile environment at all. But it doesn't feel.
The trolling is hostile.
Yeah.
No. So I'm enjoying the discussion, and
you're enjoying it because you think that you're sophisticated. You think that you're an exemplary troll. You're not. You think that you're like you think you're like this like smart, insidious troll. Like, no, you're not that great at it.
No,
like,
but
we see you. You're not. It's not fun. Like, trolls should be fun. You're not fun. You're not funny. You're not smart. You think a lot of thinking.
No, but what I'm giving you, and this is the
You're
honest
giving me nothing. You're giving me nothing.
No, I'm giving you
nothing. You're giving me what the book gave me. Nothing. If anything, you're making me stupider. And you see, I said stupider. I didn't even say more stupid. That's how you know. I said you're making me stupider. Not more stupid than I was before. I'm stupider now.
No, but that is the general male perspective. So the fact that
in general males this is why your suicide rates are so high. This is why you're so unhappy. This is why women don't want to deal with you. This is why you're lonely. This is why your interpersonal relationships with your friends are terrible. This is why you are emotional retards who can't communicate at the most basic level. That's why. That's why. You're like the emotional deficit in males. I would venture to say males like you, males like the bald Myron Gaines, and the ugly one. That's the problem with society. That's why you guys are devolving. Everybody else is like evolving, right? Like the environment's changing, the economy's changing. Men are staying exactly the same, but they're actually men are getting worse. Males are getting worse. Males are they refuse to evolve and tap into their higher thinking mind. You guys want to be cavemen. So why don't men get together and do that? One thing that Myron, a vibe that I get from Myron is a whole is a whole. So why don't you guys, like, with that idea, a whole is a whole, why don't you guys just get together and hold it out?
Well, I definitely disagree with that view. That if he said that, I definitely disagree with that. But I'm also here to hear your perspective. And like for me, part of my growth is I now hear you. So what you've said and what you shared before, I would have been like, oh, she's just going off, she's just being crazy. But I have a better appreciation for your frustration and where you're coming from. And I now take that instead of just hostility as like, well, you actually care, right?
So,
and that's something
it's hostility. When I'm dealing with.
Wait, Anna. Wait, you and
I'm sorry.
No, with you and I are out. Petty, you and him can talk.
Petty,
I was going to say, Mr. Diver, that would actually be an example of emotional intelligence for you to be able to look outward, and instead of taking something at face value, maybe being able to look at the deeper meaning and saying, oh, she might be frustrated dealing with men due to you coming up and doing whatever it was you did tonight, or something like that. That would actually be an example of emotional intelligence. You don't think something like that is necessary in the workplace?
No, and look, I think a lot of the problems between men and women is simply miscommunication. Like we don't understand. And I know for me,
I wasn't, sorry to interrupt you. I wasn't necessarily talking about the problem between men and women, but rather what you said about what Fresh and Fit taught you about competence being more important than being nice. And we were using emotional intelligence as a stand-in for being nice since you didn't define it for us. So again, something like that in the workplace, I don't know if you've ever been ruled by someone at work with an iron fist who doesn't have sympathy for his workers or compassion or anything like that. But I would call those two things equal. I wouldn't necessarily say one is more important than the other. I think that if you're talking about something logical, doesn't correlate with higher productivity in the workplace, for example, more numbers and stuff like that, or no?
Or you think having emotional intelligence or say a boss that
or just like you said, niceness, just being pleasant, being nice to your coworkers, to your employees.
Well, I think I am nice to me is someone who caters to someone else. And a lot of times when men get with a woman.
No. Why do you guys do this? And you say women do it. I don't like it. Don't say nice to me, nice to you. Use nice as objectively as you can.
So yeah, the definition of nice. Earlier you said women speak in women don't speak bluntly. Women don't speak straightforward, and that's really weird. The definition of nice is pleasant. It's not someone who caters to your every will. The definition of emotional intelligence is being able to understand your own emotions and others. It's not having a warped self-view. So it feels like you're speaking to me and I have no clue what you're talking about. You're making up definitions as you go along.
Okay, so
he's saying that you're communicating the way that you say women communicate. He's saying you sound like a woman because you're not being assertive, you're not being direct, you're not concise, you're not clear. You're kind of all over the place the way that you say women are. You're creating a subterfuge.
Anna, I'm going to mute you. Yeah, I'm going to mute you and me. Wait. I'm going to mute Anna and myself because
That's not what I was saying. I was just pointing out, Mr. Diver, that it felt contradictory for you to be doing what you said women do up here, when it seems like the women have been at least pretty straightforward, and you've been kind of dodgy as far as how you're communicating with us. It feels like shifty and not blunt and not straightforward at all. You're on mute if you're trying to speak.
Am I still on? Okay. So let me clarify. What I should have said was nice guy.
Wait, are you ABBA?
Because
Is this ABBA trolling me?
Abba, if you want, Abba, we both live in Canada. If you want to get to know me, like, you don't have to do this. Trolling is like, it's not cute. You're too YouTube known to be acting like this. Like, if you want to connect, you don't have to do this. This is beneath you, Abba.
Go ahead, answer Prince Betty again. Sorry.
It's beneath you. I'm just saying, we're both Canadian.
oh, that's muted.
Mr. Diver, you were saying.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear the rest of or the last part of what Anna was saying.
I was just saying, it feels like you are, first of all, it feels like you're goal posting. We were talking about being nice and why it's more important to be nice than to be competent. I said that I feel like both are necessary, and I said that it feels like you're being shifty in your definitions and you're not being blunt and straightforward. Instead of addressing that, you said, well, I mean, nice guys instead. So it feels like you've moved the goalpost a little bit, and I did want you to address that.
Okay, no, so I'm clarifying. So when I said for a guy to be nice or to be a nice guy, be a nice guy. Nice guy means someone who's basically spineless and a pushover. Now, of course, we know nice is general as just pleasant. That's not what a nice guy means. Not just someone who's pleasant. That means someone who's a pushover. And I think we understand what a nice guy is, and I should have been clear
what would
on
be
that.
some examples of being a nice guy or a pushover or spineless?
I was trolling.
Well, just someone who, you know, whatever woman says, oh, okay, yeah, do that, whether it's reasonable or not. You know, just someone who's and a lot of men fall into that trap where, look, fundamentally, all a man wants is for his woman to be happy. That's it.
Hold up, I'm trying to understand. A nice guy, you said, is someone who does basically whatever a woman says, even if it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. That's bad. And men shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of men are sort of oblivious to that, and it doesn't start with anything that, you know, outlandish, but it's usually just, you know, a slow escalation, and next thing you know, a man wakes up, he's like I look at what's his name, Prince Harry, as a perfect example of this. You know, I'm sure he wakes up in the morning, is like, I was a prince, I was in a castle. What the hell am I doing here? How did this happen to me?
We have to we have to put Abba. Listen, you're making Canadians look bad. I thought I was bad. It's enough. It's enough. Okay, stop the trolling. It's enough, please. Okay, like be cool. How you be cool. Stop with the trolling. If you're trying to connect, you don't have to do this. Like, this is beneath you. But we have to move on because, like the book, this is going nowhere. You get it?
Yeah, I wanted to end. I know we're getting close to the cutoff.
Sorry.
Close to the cutoff, Mr. Diver, but I did want to.
Before you do, Mr. Diver, are you ABBA?
No comment.
Why are you playing on this internet, sir? So you are ABBA, not you. Wait. All right, go ahead. Ask your question, Prince Betty.
Yeah, I forgot. Somebody says.
But Abba, why don't you tell us what your real feelings about the man? Like, we hear you talking to Steven about Andrew Tate, fresh and fit. Like, why don't you just be real about how you feel about it? Because you know how we feel. You know our position. Why can't we just have a conversation where you're saying, yo, listen, like, yeah, these guys are clowns, but at the end of the day, men are like in a state of disrepair. We would agree with you.
Are you familiar with Steven's lifestyle? Like, what do you make of that? Do you have an opinion on that?
I am a live. I live and I let live. Okay, I don't have any issues. I think that Steven at the core is a good human being.
Wait,
I'm a live and let live.
afraid of Steven
because he agrees.
I'm not. Listen,
because he agrees with you politically.
And what do you mean he agrees? If politically, polygamy is diametrically opposed with my political leanings. I believe in
free love.
Man, woman, no. Monogamy. Abba, stop playing. Monogamy, okay? What do you think about his lifestyle? Because I know you guys, that seems to be the point of contention. Everybody thinks they're toxic. Everybody thinks it's dysfunctional. I mean, so what? Let him live.
What is Abba? What does that mean?
She knows. I don't know.
Abba, are you interested in me?
Wait, Anna.
I think Abba likes me. I'm not even trying to be like hubris. I think Abba likes me. That's what I think.
Well, this is not themisdate.com. So why didn't you go after TLA when he was talking? This has bothered me for a while.
Hold on. Hold on. No, I'm Myron Diver.
All right. I don't know if this is Abba, so I'm just going to pretend like it's not and then move back. So you have not learned anything from, and you just trolled us, essentially.
No,
Abba, listen, hold on. I spoke to Steven. I said I'm going to come to Miami. If you're going to go to Miami, you and I we can connect, we can debate, we can do all of that. You don't have to do this, okay? It's sad.
What are you going to wear?
Yo, all right. Boot him. I told you.
All right, I'm out. It's been fun, guys. It's fun. It's been fun.
Okay, Abba.
Take care.
Wait, is it Abba for real?
That was Abba, Themis. Oh my God, that's Abba.
Wait,
this is his second or third time trolling you. And I think the first time you were also talking about Andrew Tate or Myron. Do you remember? You said I know who you are. Remember?
Yeah, that's when I thought it was Abba, but
that's Abba. Abba has too much time on his hands.
Wait, I wish you told, because I actually have a TLA question about that guy who offed his girlfriend and his ex-wife, and TLA was like, "Oh, that's fine," and well, he was just walking the table, and I wanted to know why he didn't cover it.
Why don't you and Abba connect? He's worked with content. I've seen him work with content creators. Why don't you guys just connect and have an actual show? That's what I'm saying. Abba doesn't have to do this. You can have a legitimate show with you and him.
I mean, he has plausible deniability, right? He's not about to come here and show himself and then make it look like he and I are in agreement when we're not, and then get dragged by the entire manosphere. He's not.
I don't think. I think that he would have a legitimate conversation with you, but I mean, I could be wrong. I actually think that if you guys were to connect, I feel like he would have a conversation with you. I mean, he does. He's troll. I think part of the reason he's trolling is because you're intelligent, obviously. He has too much time on his hands. He's a little bit bored, but I also think that there's something that he values about what you have to say and how you think. Otherwise, he wouldn't be over here. He would not be over here.
Separately, because we've run over time, but in my experience with larger content creator that I critique, they usually get mad and think that everyone should kiss up to them, and I don't kiss up to anyone. So like if I have critiques in your face, I'm going to give the critique, but it doesn't mean I like whatever, but I don't see that working because it feels like the political game online is, can I gain something? And by something I mean subscribers.
Yeah.
And so Stephen, Destiny is the only outside of the women in the BWE who have supported me. I think Stephen is the only larger male content creator who came over and was like, "Oh, what's up? Blah blah blah. You have a problem,
Stephen
or whatever." So like,
Stephen will go anywhere, Stephen, he'll go anywhere. But I still think that I don't know. Abba will I'll drag Abba on YouTube, private, whatever. Who cares? I think Abba can dish it. He can take it. He can get dragged too. He's not impervious to a dragging. Period. But I think that he would have a conversation with you. That's just my feeling. I think that I think there's something special about the way that you interact and engage. It could be just like the lawyer in you. But I think he would. I don't know. I don't freaking know Abba. The only thing I know about Abba is he's Canadian. I don't know him like that.
I still don't think that was ABBA, but
That was Abba, bro. I promise
let's
that was
do the
Abba.
super chats and then go.
All right. Curry up and you said, I make no promises with these super chats. Risk it.
Period.
KC, wait, is euthanasia not healthcare? That was probably for Apple. I guess that, yeah, I don't know what that is. I have no clue what that word is. Anna, you can take it away because the rest of the super chats are like this.
Okay. I guess that Tara Thomas should also count, huh? What? I don't know what the hell that means.
I think this was about the baby conversation. Can you ask him if only women support the right to an abortion, since this was his example of women thinking with feelings?
That's interesting. He went like 2 layers deep before it was a mess. So it wasn't completely dumb. That the position on abortion was wrong, but I had like it usually cuts off at RAPE, which becomes inconsistent. It went down to choosing between the two lives, which is like a 3rd level deep. So anyway, go ahead.
No, I don't. I think that he is like. I think he's like, it's like satire. I think he's like an inflated version of this most inconsistent, illogical, remedial, dusty bandits. Like, I think that's what he was trying to do for his own to give himself a damn kick. And I feel bad because all of these super chats are predicated on the idiocy that he was trolling. That's so sad. But it's so appreciated. But Abba, he's no good.
Joyson says, sex education and anatomy really needs to be a required class. Dude is strong, dead wrong, walked into it 2 times and still didn't see it. 2 times, or 3 or 4. Women getting an abortion is terminating a child she doesn't want.
It is Abba. I know how it is, Abba. That picture that I showed was a funny thing that I was gonna do. And I didn't know where I got it from, but I just looked it up. It was on his channel where the guy was like, this was not a child, by the way. That was a baby dolphin. But it was,
my God.
Yeah. But they were like, I can tell that's the human. And there are 2 things. First, if they said that, then I'd be like, okay, no. But if they say, yes, it is, then I could continue, which is what I did. But yeah. So that's why he did that. I think it was Abba now. You're right.
It was Abba, and it was Abba before. How many times has he done this? He likes he likes this content. He likes your channel. He likes your mind.
I wouldn't go that far.
Women
Go ahead,
getting
Betty.
an abortion is terminating a child she doesn't want and call it a fetus or whatever else. She knows it's a child. That's what she's aborting. I disagree.
Was that a man or a woman that said that?
It's gone now. Black Sapphire, thank you. I work in the NICU as a respiratory therapist, and we don't consider it a viable pregnancy until after 23 to 24 weeks gestation. If it can't sustain itself outside of the body, it's a fetus, not a baby. That does sound like a logical argument, not an emotional one. I have no clue what he was talking about earlier. Thank you.
Like, that's biology and science. My God.
Curry Up and Eat says, this man should never be allowed to access our airways again, but we're open to the foolishness. Fresh and Fit down 200.
We didn't get to one of the most important chapters in the book. I'm going to make a video on it. Just
chapter 6?
Yeah. Wait, don't say anything. Yeah. It won't be this weekend because I have a big thing coming up, but I'll do it after. Sorry, go ahead.
He don't want to take care of the child. He was fighting against that child support. He was fighting it a little bit. Level Up Single Mom, thank you. So he's okay with reframing to not acknowledge what he's actually saying, but women are emotional for reframing what she has to do.
Reframing just means, you know what? Let me move the goalposts over here and see what happens. That's what reframing is. That's what it was.
Joycelyn says, who do pro-lifers always forget adoption exists? Why? Why do pro-lifers always forget adoption exists?
Well, pro-lifers. Listen.
I ain't never heard a pro-lifer talk about adoption ever, except to say that you should give the child up for adoption. I haven't heard them talk about adopting. Heo Haji says, he learned how to go on panels and spew ignorance. He learned it. He learned that well. EBT trolls. Thank you, April. Casey says, my boss has books about emotional intelligence in his office. The whole office loves him, male and female. Absolutely.
Can I also say something? I know we're wrapping up. The emotional intelligence component is part of the reason why women do better in management and as like supervisors, management, and kind of overseeing companies in general, because employees report higher like just rates of general better well-being. They feel safe, they feel happy in the workplace. They feel that it's not a toxic or volatile workplace. So yeah, shout out to women, because we're the real bosses who obviously know how to make people feel good.
Shout out
in the workplace.
Sounded
bad.
K. Frank says the tension
between
misandry.
Listen, you told me when I asked you about that post, I said, do you think this is right? You said, yep. No, I said, you think it's wrong? You said, nope.
No, that's not what I said. Please remember what I said. I never said wrong or right. I said those.
Yeah, no, you said no.
No, I didn't talk about being wrong or right. I said it doesn't matter if it's wrong or right.
Oh my God.
The question is it accurate?
And I said, I think that it is. And I asked you if you think it's wrong, and you said nope.
Nope, I didn't. Did not.
You did?
Nope.
I promise you did. I promise you did, Themis. Oh my God. Okay, sorry, Petty, that's everything?
That's all the super chats, I think. Yep.
Next time, Abba, next time if you're gonna troll this long, like you should, and I understand the Canadian dollar is like not as good as the American dollar, but next time you're gonna troll, like with so much vigor, and like send a Cash App or something. Like don't contribute to the channel in the name of God, Abba.
Ooh.
And on that note.
Leave it alone.
So thank you all so much. I think we got through more of the book that I thought we would. I definitely told everyone that we would get through all of it, but we wouldn't. And I'm glad we didn't, because I want to do a video on a chapter. I don't want to say, because I don't want you guys to go read it, but I think Anna said it, but I said yes, and that might not have been the chapter.
What? Don't read the book, you guys.
Oh yeah.
Do not read the. Don't read the. Listen, we're doing this so that you guys don't have to. Don't read the book, please. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it. Don't debase yourself. Do not read the book. We'll do it.
I have said this before that I am a fan of men writing books because no.
Back to the.
No, I didn't say no. I'm not trolling. I'm a fan of men writing books. I'm not a fan of publishing mediocre books. Just write a manuscript. And I think when you write, it's the best way to get your ideas out. And once you get your ideas out, you can test them and challenge yourself. I think that's a good thing. The problem is none of this felt like it was challenged. And it just feels like he wrote the book, said it's done, and then publish. And when I write when I do my video, I'm going to focus in on one specific chapter, and I'm going to explain why, because it was so wrong. And I think he thought no one would figure this out, but I figured it out. So absolutely not. Wait, LB is not a member. Welcome to the membership, LB. I thought you've been a member. Thank you all so much for coming. Any final thoughts? You're good?
Don't forget to leave a like on the video. It's free. It's free. It's free. Leave a like.
It's free. He emphasized 3 times. I just want, like, the book, I understand. I want people, like, get your money, publish your books, but I'm in agreement with Demas. I feel like there's a difference between simple and like an acute piece of work, something that's really simple and informative, and then simple. Like when I say simple, I mean like radio or like Forrest Gump. Like they're simple, right? Like they're simple like the book.
You're wrong.
So no, I'm right. So I agree with Themis. Don't read the book unless don't read the book.
Yeah.
Well, this was an
love
ad
you
for
all.
the book. Little do you know, this was an ad for the book, and so everyone gets the book. You
know
get
what the funny thing is? In the beginning, the beginning of the stream, they're gonna be like, oh my god, like Themis is acting like this. Maybe we should like read the book. I promise you, this is like the beginning of the stream is like an endorsement, at least.
Oh, Rhonda, welcome to the membership. Thank you so much. Sharana, Miss Ramsey, welcome to the membership. Thank you. So, how do I put this? I'm being honest. Like, I do want people who differ from me to be able to come up and talk to me. But I fear the only way people are going to feel comfortable doing that is if they feel like they get the mic completely. And I'm not someone who go to ad hominem attack and just drag people. I don't drag generally. So it's like, I feel like I can't be any more open. To do that is to like let you come up here and run amok. So like, I obviously would never go on any of the Manosphere panels again after what happened. But like, I feel like my panels aren't one where you have to be like, I am afraid because he's just going to mute me and talk over me. Do I do that generally? I mean, I guess I cut people off. I don't know.
Well, cutting people off, I think, is different than muting people, but I don't see that.
All right, so I'm not going to change that. All right.
But Themis, you do, because you operate from a place of good faith, like truly good faith, where you're trying, like you want the conversation to sort of evolve and come to some sort of consensus. That sometimes like bandits will hone in on that, and they will really take advantage of your good faith, because like you're trying to understand and they're trying to troll. Like they're sort of like diametrically opposed. So I don't know how to remedy that. It's like you're good faith and you want to understand something, but for them there's nothing to understand. Like there's nothing there. They're void.
All right, Prince Betty, you didn't get your closing. We didn't forget you.
My closing is leave a like, and thank you for the 3 members who just joined. And more people should become members because yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we love you guys. This was a good live. We love you guys. Thank you for the contributions. Thank you for the engagement. And we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, starting next week, we're going to have a whole new plan. It's going to be a lot better for both streams, I think. Hopefully, we don't know. But we're really going to really engage. So, period. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night. Love is love. Don't go after Destiny and his relationship, because what works. And I'm also not opposed to his relationship. So people keep asking me that, like, I have any jurisdiction over what other people do. The reason I don't like the relationships structure that we usually is because if the man gets to cheat and the woman can't. But if everyone is in agreement that this is what everyone is doing, that's none of my business. Love is love, period. So that's my
Live and
stand.
let live. Live and let live. If you're not causing harm and wreaking havoc, get out of my face. Like, do what you're gonna do. That's fine. I don't care. I don't call police for people's lifestyle. It has nothing to do with me. If they're happy, I don't care. If they're not, I still don't care.
If
As
only
long
he
as they're
didn't
not
want to
causing
say that.
harm.
If only he didn't say the N word. If only.
Wait, what?
Anyway.
I love the way Themis does it. Themis drops the bomb and then he goes, that what? Okay, we'll talk about this.
Yep, we'll do it behind the scenes. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, this is not behind the scenes. I've said this multiple times because I don't want people to be surprised. Like, what's going to happen is Destiny is going to be outed and everyone is like, oh my God, he said the N word. And it's like, yes, I've been saying this for forever. Please know that Destiny says, or at least argues to say the N word. So when it comes out, you're not surprised. I'm just putting that out there. I think he said it on one of his streams. It's like, it's going to come out that I've argued to say the N word and people are going to call me a racist. So, like, just FYI.
Do you think he's racist? Oh, I'll ask you. Okay, bye. Bye, guys. Love you.
Mm-hmm.